And as a last question, I'm really sad that we're out of time, but I want to ask you both. Since this is, again, supposedly investigation in aid of legislation, and Attorney Christie mentioned a good point in terms of always having implementation as the problem. In the Philippines, you have so many laws, but it's always implementation and enforcement that's the problem. So in this case, what can the Quadcom look into in terms of having a law that would impact implementation? Because even this whole war on drugs, that was the platform that the president, former President Duterte, ran under. And people were convinced that it was needed, which I think was what led to his victory. But Filipinos also acknowledge that when it comes to the justice system, mabagal talaga. We don't see results. So when you say, let's leave it to the justice system, then the crime rates go up, and even crimes go unpunished because even the victims have no time to prosecute it because that costs money, that costs a lot of time. So how do we improve this for everyone else to make sure that there's peace and security and that there's also due process?
First of all, Attorney Karen, we really need this EJK law because we need to correct the impression that was given by the former president to the public that it is okay to kill even criminals only. It is never okay to kill. It is never correct to kill because putting law into our hands is not only illegal, it is also immoral. We have to understand that this is a civilized society. We have the rule of law, and instead of putting the law into our hands, let the justice system take its course. And yes, I acknowledge we need to work together para mapabilis ang judicial system natin. And we need here a whole of the government approach. We need the participation of the PNP, the DOJ, and the judiciary, Attorney Karen. We need to work together.
Attorney Christie, you work on the ground. What's your take on, is that achievable?
Well, yes. And another thing that which would directly address implementation would be to legislate an automatic investigation system or automatic autopsy system with regard to deaths, especially those under or during police operations. So, to be frank, there's no rule on autopsy. It's optional, which is why some victims of the war on drugs, when confronted, when harassed by the funeraria, so the funeral parlors, they would say, okay, sign this, sign this. It's a waiver which says nobody should be held liable for the death of my kin. And so that is what has led us to these thousands of killings, but no investigations or no cases.